Do you scroll through the most expensive neighborhood with your average salary and get upset when you notice there isn't a buy house now or add to cart option? And you keep scrolling to find a great fixer-upper and then see there isn't a free $100,000 construction loan with no credit needed ad? Well, you're not alone. For some reason, a lot of people think this when they're trying to buy a house. Instead, try pre-approval. Side effects of pre-approval may include crushing your dreams, letting banks know you have debt, and realizing you might need to move to the Midwest. Pre-approval. Try one today.
What's up guys, it's Avery here. If this is your first time at the channel or if you're returning and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Hit that notification bell so you can get tips on real estate investing or things that you can do with your money in order to build wealth. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and drop a comment below. Recently, someone sent me an email with the numbers that they set for their rental property that they were attempting to buy. All of the rents were in order, they had all of the expenses laid out. If you're unsure how to do that, check out the video up here or in the description below. But they had all of that stuff sorted out and the things looked quite good and it looked like a good investment property. So the next step was obviously making an offer. But this is something that they couldn't do because they weren't pre-approved yet. And so often people will go look at Zillow or realtor.com without having a pre-approval, and it ends up just being a waste of time. And I actually did this myself, so that's why I wanted to make this video so I could warn you guys before you start looking, before you start analyzing, even though it's good practice, that you may be wasting your time looking in the wrong neighborhoods. Once you have that pre-approval, you'll know exactly where you can buy a home. So at this point, you've been reading, you've been educating yourself, you've been listening to a bunch of podcasts, you've been watching all of my videos, and of course, you've been smashing the like button. But before you go and buy a house or look at where you can buy houses, the first thing that you need to do is get pre-approved. So what exactly is a pre-approval? So in order to actually buy a home, you're gonna need to have the funds on hand. And if you don't have an all-cash offer, which is pretty difficult and can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're most likely gonna be going through some sort of bank financing. And that could be through a mortgage lender, a credit union, or a local bank, or a bigger bank, which I wouldn't recommend, but that's how you're gonna get your pre-approval. And you're gonna be sending all of your information to this mortgage lender, to the bank, so that they can understand how much money that they should lend you and what type of risk you are, so they know what type of house that you can buy and how much house you can buy. In order to get a pre-approval for a home loan, it's pretty similar to any other type of loan. You're gonna give that person all of your information about all of your finances. They're gonna wanna know how much debt you're in, if you have student loan debt, a car payment, or any other type of loan payments, and they're gonna wanna know how much income you're making. So if you're working with a bank or with a mortgage lender, be prepared to send them absolutely every single piece of information about any finances that you have ever come across, most likely within the last 2 years. And absolutely important, if you're getting into real estate investing, please do not quit your full-time job. In order to get a loan, you need 2 years of work history. And that can actually include when you're in school, because when I bought my first rental property, it was only 6 months after I graduated from college, but they include that time while you're in university as work experience. But if you're working a W-2 full-time salaried position and then you switch into a commission role, like if you went from the type of job that I'm working into becoming a real estate agent, they start you from scratch. If you're working in a commission position, they want to see 2 years of history. So if you're thinking about making a career switch, buy that house first. A pre-approval will determine how much loan you can get. And with a condo and a single family, you'll have a pretty similar loan amount. And then with the 2, 3, and 4 unit multifamily properties, you'll get higher loan. So the amount of units that there are in the purchase that you're trying to buy, you're gonna get more and more of a loan. And that's because the loan officer will take into account some of the predicted rents of that building. So if you're getting $2,000 in rent and you're living in a duplex, they're gonna take a portion of that $2,000 and put it towards the income that you also already make with your job. So that will increase your pre-approval and get you a higher loan. It's important when you're attempting to get pre-approved and you're gonna go buy a house that you look at multiple lenders and options to get that loan. Now, I personally prefer using a mortgage lender or a local credit union because they're gonna have better interest rates and better terms. The bigger banks like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something like that are not gonna give you as good of terms, and they're not gonna do as good of a job at getting you the best pre-approval possible. And if you're gonna be getting quotes from multiple lenders, it's important that you do so within a shorter period of time. What they're gonna do is gonna pull your credit score, and they're gonna have a hard inquiry on your credit report. So if you do multiple within 7 to 14 days, it's not gonna have a large effect. But if you're getting a pre-approval in January, and then in the middle of February, and then in March, those are gonna be 3 separate hard inquiries. But the credit bureaus will know that if you're getting a hard inquiry within the same week or two, that you're just shopping around and you're being a savvy consumer. It's important to note that when the lender or the credit union or the bank pulls your credit, that it's gonna last on your credit report for about a year. But it's not really a big deal. It only goes down a couple of points and it won't have a huge impact on your credit report or your score. And it's also important to note that once you get that mortgage pre-approval letter, that it lasts for 90 days. So if by the time you get that first pre-approval and you haven't found a house within 90 days, you're gonna have to get another pre-approval and they're gonna have to do another credit pull. A lot of people actually get pretty nervous about this and they feel like it's a time constraint, but it's really not a big deal. Again, if you get your credit pull once or twice within 3-month period, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a couple of points. Don't sweat it too much. It's okay if it takes more than that 90-day period. Getting a pre-approval is really important because it lets you know which towns, which neighborhoods, which areas you can actually buy a house. Like I said, I made this mistake when I was first starting to look. I was looking at areas right within the Boston area. The numbers made sense, so I thought, all right, I'm gonna go see if I can purchase these homes. But then I realized that I wouldn't qualify for $1 million loan. And that is really the reason why you wanna get a pre-approval. It'll limit where you can actually look for a property. So it allowed me to hone in on my criteria of what towns I could actually look for and the purchase price, so I wasn't wasting my time, I wasn't wasting my real estate agent's time figuring out, can I actually afford that house? It allows you to look at the criteria of which purchase price you can actually afford so you can know which homes to target and which houses that you should actually analyze to see if it's a good investment for you. Another thing that a pre-approval will do for you is create a better relationship with your real estate agent. Your real estate agent can take you more seriously if you actually have a pre-approval, a full-on stamp from the bank saying that you can actually afford those houses that they're taking you around on the weekend with their time so that they're not wasting their time and you're not wasting your time either. And the most important thing that a pre-approval will allow you to do is actually offer on a house. Unless you have 100% all cash, you're gonna need that pre-approval letter, and no seller will accept any offer unless they're living on Mars or not knowing what they're doing, unless there is a pre-approval. If they don't know that you can actually afford it and that your financing isn't gonna fall through, why would they accept your offer? So make sure you can get pre-approved so you can actually buy that house. Before you start scrolling through Zillow tonight and sending those listings to your significant other or to your parents, make sure that you get pre-approved so that you know exactly what neighborhood that you can buy in. Once you've gotten pre-approved, you can know exactly what houses you can buy so you can start scrolling real happily without the worry of if you can actually purchase that home. And you're not gonna get your hopes up thinking that you found the best investment opportunity when you can't actually get a loan for it. Make sure you go on ahead and get that pre-approval as soon as possible, especially if you're trying to buy a house. Stay safe, happy scrolling. Thanks again for watching and hope to see you guys next time.